called ActiveX.
Wonderful.
Which only works with Windows.
Okay.
But
well, that's the idea about, can you genericize that to say it's a data code segment? What's an applet? It's a small applications program, right?
Right.
Well, let's say that.
Okay.
Or I could just say an applet.
You could say an ActiveX.
A Java applet, ActiveX applet, or other.
You want a separate claim.
Right.
Each one should be a separate claim.
Right.
Well, I can play games, but it's funny. What I have to do is say, where in the user interface is one of the following, Java or ActiveX.
Or other.
No, I can't say other in a claim.
Can you do other in a new claim?
Nope. The word other is indefinite in a claim.
I've already covered it.
In frame 1, because it's any user interface.
Yeah, other is claimed in.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. Further comprising, compressing, that's optional, right?
Yeah.
Everything here is dependent, it's optional.
Right.
Okay, to a network server, how about to a set-top box?
Is that worth a separate dependent?
Absolutely, it's one of the raging things coming down the pipe.
Okay, set-top box. Can you give me an example of a today's technology set-top box that this will work? And then tell me on figure 1.
Well, we just happen to know there's development activities that are going on in a number of different companies, and but they're heading in this direction.
Yeah, but I can't. But your claims have to be buildable by somebody at ordinary skill in the art.
You would be able to.
Yeah.
Set-top box.
Right.
Sure.
Tried it.
That's just a display system.
Web TV is an example of a set-top box.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Set-top box that takes streaming information and presents it on a TV screen.
So what is a cable box sitting on my mom's TV? That it's just a cable box goes to your VCR on your TV. That's not a set-top box.
That is a set-top box. It's a very simple one.
Yeah, it doesn't have a display on it. You use your TV.
It uses your TV, but the newer ones all have computers in them. And that memory.
Yeah.
And convert.
And it can convert different formats.
Right, but the set-top box itself doesn't have a video display. It has a...
No, it uses the TV as a video display.
And then say TV.
Which is web TV, which is a set...
So put in a TV claim.
Cable box. I don't have time to go look at claims right now.
Okay.
We're going to be crunched to get this on file tonight.
Okay.
Okay. So my question again, can you point? Give me you did web TV. Is that manufactured by who? Or is it in there already?
It's Microsoft has a web TV.
And web.
And Dell had a web TV. They just pulled it off the market.
Okay.
But these are primitive. The web TV is a primitive form of what's coming.
I know. I need. But you can't patent what's coming unless you give an example of what you can build today.
Well, at web TV.
Good. And I wanted to find out where that was in. Do you remember where that? I'll find it later.
Okay. On page 26.
I'm not through with this.
Oh, no problem. Where do we go back to?
Okay. Back to a comment that I made earlier, Doug. The advantage of Claim 1 is it applies to enhanced digital files which are not compressed. And we have to make a provision as a dependent claim for transmitting over network. Because the one that provides for transmitting over a network is tied to a compressed file.
True, but I'm sorry. What Steve is doing here in claim 8 is there's the compression hanging on claim 1. So now if you do compression, and so you can throw claim 8 and claim 1 at him. And if you do it over a network, if you upload it to a network server, now you can throw claim 9 and 8.
Right, but it doesn't...
On the network server, no, it's uploading but it would have to be compressed then because it's dependent. Oh, this is the one you talked about before?
Right.
I'm sorry. So you need number 9 dependent on 1.
Right.
Thank you. That's what we talked about yesterday.
Okay.
Whichever day that was, my days are all
Comment. That was it.
Yes.
Okay. 26, line 6, least twice greater than 1.
Line 26 on what?
Page 26, line 6.
Of the what claim? See the claim
13.
Line 6 of claim 13. Oh, the least twice.
Greater than.
Now, okay. I don't remember. Do we have a picture claim? Meaning an independent claim that's fairly narrow that reads on your preferred embodiment in your product? We should. Because that may be what we have to go with. Because now that we've, here's my thinking, and this is what Steve and I discussed this ad nauseum here. We were going to go with claim 1 in the EPO. The reason is we're filing a PCT application now, and a U.S. claims are cheap and free, and not free, but they're cheap, and they take multiple claims in the PCT and in the U.S. But when we split to Europe, they don't like multiple claims. They will give you one apparatus and one method only if they're related. So we basically pick our best independent claim, but not all the time your broadest, believe it or not, because they may find something that is, since you can't, how do I explain this? If you have your best claim, our claim 1 now is kind of reaching over our product that we really know that we're comfortable with what we can get, and your product with what you can get is too narrow because somebody might modify it. What I usually do in Europe is go somewhere in the middle to get something that's broad enough to cover your product, but still in a real-world application and not try and claim the world, because you don't get that many times you don't get that much leeway to amend in Europe. If I threw claim 1,
is this to the least twice versus greater than 1?
If there's little or no chance that an infringer is going to not do at least 2, that will buy you some.
There are chances where it might not be.
Yeah, but what's the chance that prior art is going to come out of the woodwork?
None, because
no, there's a very good chance that prior art is going to come out of the woodwork and blow all of it.
Between 1 and 2.
It's possible.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it wasn't. If that's the case, and somebody else beat us to the punch, we should have a claim that takes us all the way from greater than 1. If you don't want to box me into that statement, just make it a claim.
Okay, so you're saying that we would file the broadest idea in Europe. Well, we'll discuss that later when Europe rolls around.
Okay.
But that was why I did. The practice is to do different claims of varying scope and different formats.
Okay. On 15, claim 15, moving, is that panning?
Yes.
Okay. Plurality, Jim didn't like it because it means at least 2.
Jim didn't like it.
Yeah, that's his note.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what it means.
Okay.
And I put there. That's the whole point of claim 16, which is dependent on 14, which is dependent on 13. Are you with me?
Yep.
You're down in the mud now, and plurality may be the thing that saves your butt.
Okay.
Because your product does these, right?
Yes.
Your preferred embodiment product does these.
Okay, and then my only last question was, can you throw something in to cover the game world? That specifically relates to gaming and flight simulation.
How would we do this?
Well, because you'd be able to now use games differently, and you definitely can use flight simulators differently.
Okay, look at figure 1, Eliot.
Yep.
What changes? Just the definition of what 28 is, right?
figure 21, the display monitor, the display system is what you're saying?
No, figure 1. I'm sorry, there's a figure there. What changes when you go to games and flight simulators?
Well, because those
network,
displays, because the displays become now dependent on parameters of the game or the flight simulator that drive the display window.
That's fine, but there's nothing structurally here that changes other than the user computer has now the flight simulator program or a game program on it, right?
And what happens is the user interface actually becomes an application-driven interface. Right. That's probably the key difference. And the question is, can we convert that user-driven interface to an application-driven interface?
Meaning like a flight simulator program.
Absolutely.
So that what is displayed is under control of a program and not under control of the user.
Right, because you see, you don't want the pilot maybe to be able to do a nosedive. You might want him to be flying along and have a program that says, shock him, make him dive, make all the graphics.
Well, but the program knows where he is and therefore moves the display according to where he is and what he's doing.
Right.
So it's
under the control of the computer application of its own, as opposed to. I see. So basically, the whole it's not a network anymore. It basically doesn't fall into Figure 1.
Well,
Figure 1 better not tie me to a network.
Figure 1, but Figure 1 ties you to a network as your preferred embodiment.
Okay.
This will be what's on your
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether it's on a network or not.
Okay, as long as that's true.
Yeah.
That's fine.
What we want is to make sure that what we call the user interface in here can also be a computer-based application interface.
Okay, well, in order to do that, we got to stick a claim on it, or we have to put support in the spec now to do that. So what would we do? All I see that we do...
Well, you could broaden user interface.
Yeah. Well, we'll broaden the definition of user interface in the claim.
And then I throw in a quick claim that says those two things as examples of it.
Good idea.
Okay? And we'll let you get to rewriting.
Hang on a second, don't go away. Broaden the user interface. To have it control of either the server computer or the user computer, right?
Right.
And when we do that, that really then lays right on top of that disclosure that we had talked about. Because one of the items that I wanted to accomplish was to be able to control the display from the computer itself or from an application rather than from the user. Remember that?
Rather than from the user, meaning, yeah, sure. And in this example, the flight simulator application program would control the zoom and pan of the display?
Yes.
But that means you still provided a digital, claim 1 would be fine, that somebody at some time provided a digital image file.
Yes.
Viewing on a computer.
Right.
So claim 1 would catch that.
Claim 1, as long as the user interface
Well, that's going to be a dependent claim.
can be expanded to include
Either a downloaded applet,
a program interface.
Any program.
Right. And we don't have to say where the program resides.
Yeah.
Right, because that you definitely, in this world, gaming wouldn't know where
Right.
Because now multiple users can access one central game.
Right.
Great thought, guys. Okay.
I always save some of the, for your last minute work. So,
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I got, an hour here, so what's the problem? Brian, let's talk about the definitions of source, target, and all that other garbage, because I got confused in that, Jim got confused. It's in the spec. Steve did that. Do you know what page it's on? Because they're all over my desk.
Yeah. It starts at